So this is the Japanese sales. And I wonder who's buying the PS5? Because again, this is another week in Japan where the PS5 sold over 20,000 copies and no games are on the top 10. No games. Okay. This is the absolutely most hilarious thing in the world. I just do not understand how the PS5 is selling with no games. Again, there is blind loyalty for Sony fanboys to Sony. Okay? Sony fanboys have a blind loyalty to Sony and the PlayStation. But this is the weekly Famitsu sales thread. Pokemon Legends Arceus sold 1.4 million copies, while Mario Party Superstars selling 843,000 copies, and will likely hit 1 million copies by the end of this year. My Diamond Power Remake only sold 14,000 copies. Mario Kart Deluxe, it's Smash Bros, Minecraft, Animal Crossing, basically the usual Nintendo games. Big Brain Academy, according to this, sold 2.3 million. That might be a typo or error, but that game sold 2.3 million according to the site, even though Nintendo's official sales figures say it only sold 1.63 million copies. Maybe this is a Japanese only release, but this also released in America, and you're telling me that this flopped in America? And this game, the one still do nil, and yeah, that's definitely a typo. That game didn't sell two like trillion copies, so I think it's 2 billion copies. It didn't sell 2 billion copies. Some new games here, GTA the Trilogy released. So it's GTA the Trilogy without selling the PlayStation version of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Worldwide Classics. And then of course, the best-selling PS5 game was Uncharted the Collection, which no one bought, of course. No one is buying PS5 games, but how is it selling? This is the biggest mystery. How is the PS5 will be selling just as bad as the Xbox Series X, because the Xbox Series X and S have no games that ever reached this list. Okay? But somehow magical, Sony's selling 21,000 copies a week. You might say, oh yeah, people buy Uncharted digitally, and other games digitally, and indie games, and blah blah blah. Yes, people do buy games digitally. But the fact that a console selling 21,000 copies without a single game that's selling over 3K in copies is just laughable at most. Okay? Laughable at most. Sony is a laughing stock of Japanese console sales now. Okay? And this is the sales for the Switch. It sold around like another 90 to 100,000 copies, which is basically the usual week for the Switch. So, yep, that's basically about this weekend. Again, Sony is continuing. They were somehow selling 21,000 copies of the PS5, even though no one's buying the digital edition of the PS5. So, I wonder how longer Sony can fake sales for the PS5 in Japan. And that's basically about this video. Goodbye.